commendable to stay in the league for as long as he has. You know
That's
what they
true.
say NFL stands for. Not for long. Your average career lasts somewhere between 2 and 3 years. So the question now is, does Manziel become a Cleveland Browns, say, Jimmy Clausen like a quarterback who really fizzles out all too quickly? Do we see him like a Colt McCoy who waits, doesn't really do anything, and finally gets his chance at someplace like Washington? I don't know. I think he has a lot to prove, and I've made some snap judgments about Johnny Manziel. People know that I am not the biggest fan of Johnny, but you know what? I think he has matured. So if this is just based on talent, he's got a very high ceiling. It's just too soon to make a judgment. My prediction, I don't think he lasts in this league as long as Hoyer does.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so moving on in the football world, we have the future of Jimmy Harbaugh. Now, there has been some speculation the 49ers might trade him to the Raiders. It's been reported all along that he doesn't get along well with the 49ers front office. I believe his contract is expiring. There has been, people have been asking, will he take the Michigan job? Will he take some other job in college? I doubt that'll happen once you've made it to the NFL and been successful in the NFL. I don't think there's any going back. But, Jake, if you were Jim Harbaugh and you got traded to the Raiders, would you coach there or would you sit out?
Well, considering Jim Harbaugh already acts like an Oakland Raiders fan on the sidelines and everywhere else, I think he'd fit in quite nicely with Oakland. I am not afraid to admit that I am not the biggest Jim Harbaugh fan. I respect him for finding a way to beat my Packers every single year in the playoffs. I just don't like the attitude. I don't like the way he's not a very composed guy. And I think that makes him a perfect fit with Oakland. So I think Harbaugh, he wants to coach. He will take another NFL job if it is offered to him. He'd rather be in Oakland than enough.
But with the Raiders? Because he does have the option of sitting out a year.
I don't know. I think he takes Oakland. I think he does.
Because that can be I feel like that can ruin your career. As successful as Jim Harbaugh has been, because he got them to back-to-back NFC championships, or back-to-back-to-back. Yeah, three-time NFC championship. And then this season has been a pretty big disappointment, and yet we're not even saying it's him. We're blaming it more on Kaepernick. And I think that's the case.
Is anyone going to blame it on Harbaugh if Oakland doesn't play well next year? Is that going to make Harbaugh an unhireable coach? Because I completely disagree with that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but when you go from just having a coach that has had that much success and then going to the Raiders, not able to turn it around, it does your reputation does kind of take a hit. Because you turn the 49ers around, why can't you turn the Raiders around?
Because the Raiders, look at what the Raiders have done. Look at Oakland. Look at the players of the Raiders. It's very simple.
I like Derek Carr. I really do.
This is a low-risk, high-reward situation. The only way is up. That's what you get in Oakland.
No, they could go in 0-16. That still is an option. CB, what would you do?
I unfortunately think that Jim Harbaugh's going to leave San Francisco. Whether they are able to trade for him, or not, I think he's going to be done there. Now, I probably would take the opportunity to coach because of if that's his passion, which it is. Then he would obviously want to continue coaching. I think that team really doesn't have much. I'm pretty sure we all know that. There's Derek Carr. Maybe Latavius Murray is the future NFL running back. But other than that, there really isn't much there. But even still, if you really want to be an NFL coach, you'll take any job that you have the opportunity to get.
Okay. I completely agree there. I don't know if he'll do it. And Jim Harbaugh might just be crazy enough to do it. But as long as we're on football, we got a little bit more NFL left. The Cowboys, they actually won a game in December. So good job, Tony Romo. I've always had faith in him. Not a whole lot of other people have. Now, CB, can the Cowboys come back and win the NFC East?
I don't know if they'll win the NFC East, but I think they'll make the playoffs. I think the Eagles are really, really playing well right now. I think that they win at least one of the two next games against either Seattle or Dallas. I think that they're going to give Seattle a really good run for their money, and we all know how good Seattle's playing right now. I think they definitely are going to beat the Cowboys next week. They're just on a whole other level with their defense compared to what the Cowboys were able to throw at them last time. I saw nothing from that first Cowboys-Eagles game that showed me any reason to believe the Cowboys would beat them the second time. The Eagles force a lot of turnovers, and the Cowboys turn the ball over a lot, which is a recipe for disaster. And I just don't see how the Cowboys are really going to be able to beat the Eagles head-to-head. And because of that, it's going to be tough for me to say that the Cowboys are going to win the division. Now, granted, I think that there's a good chance they win the rest of their games, not including that game, and make the playoffs as a wild card. But I really don't see them beating the Eagles.
Okay, so if the Cowboys end up getting that wild card, can Tony Romo get that playoff victory? At least one.
Well, we have to see who they're playing first for me to say something like that.
Is there a division winner that they can take down? I should rephrase that.
Excuse me one more time? I'm sorry.
Is there a division winner they can take down? Let's say the Falcons.
I think they could beat the Falcons. I think they're a better team than the Falcons. Their quarterbacks are comparable, and they have a much better running game and probably a better defense as well. I think they would beat the Falcons.
All right. Jake, can the Cowboys come back and win the division and fulfill my prophecy?
You know what? When a team is undefeated on the road, they are without a question the best road team in the league.
But let's be honest here; they haven't played a home game all year, so
that is very true. See, you could really say what is their record? They have
7.
I believe they have 8 wins.
8, yeah, 8.
So they're 8-4. They're 8-4 on the road, really.
They are undefeated when they are not playing in Jerryville. Okay, and they get to not play in Jerryville twice more. And if they get a wild card spot, that means they have to not play in Jerryville again. Someone's going to have to beat Dallas on the road at some point to stop them. At this point, I think they're playoff bound. When you win games on the road, it's normally pretty good news. Good news.
They're NFL with a road field advantage, quite like the Cowboys. America's team. So
America is their home. They're always home team.
So, wasn't there a poll that said that the Cowboys aren't?
Yeah, I know. I was being incredibly sarcastic. The Steelers are more so America's team than the Cowboys, I would say. The Packers are probably up there too, Jake. The Packers are up there, I'll give you that.
No. A new poll revealed that it's actually the Broncos who are America's team.
Okay, that's just because of Peyton Manning, let's be real here. If you took that poll a couple years ago, you would have said either the Colts or the Patriots. So, yeah. So, Jake, I didn't ask you. Can the Cowboys win a playoff game? With that wild card or winning the division?
Get the first wild card, I would say that they'd probably play whoever wins the NFC South.
Which hopefully will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa. My boys in Tampa.
Yeah, I picked them preseason, so I'm still hoping on that.
I picked them too, so I'm hoping for them as well.
Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-10 and 3 games back of the division lead. It's great.
I don't know. My preseason picks are echoing your time to come back to. Speaking of echoing, I feel like I can hear myself. Whatever. We'll get the technical difficulties solved at any. But with Dallas, I think that they'll be able to solve their problems and win a playoff game if they're going with Atlanta. If they're going up against a free team, I don't think it's going to work.
Okay. So now, final NFL topic. Who do you guys think the NFL MVP will be this year? Now, beginning of the year, people were starting to say J.J. Watt. I was thinking Yeah, there's a chance, but I'm not sure. But now I'm really starting to believe it. I don't know about you guys.
I'm still taking Aaron Rodgers. He's having the best, one of his best seasons, and he's led that team both on and off the field, and he's a great quarterback. BJ Watt's pretty much done it all, but it's hard to argue with the numbers Aaron Rodgers is putting up, especially the number of interceptions. I know Jake's probably going to say the same thing to being a Packers fan, but I think he's just this time.
I mean, the Texans are 6-6. I don't think they win a single game without J.J. Watt this year, honestly. Because who else do they have on that D-line? I don't know anybody else.
The ghost of Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney has played, 4 games? And he hasn't even been like 50% in those games? They have a questionable secondary. J.J. Watt has scored how many offensive touchdowns?
I'm a Pack fan, as you all know. And I have watched Aaron Rodgers play, and he has been an incredible quarterback at home. J.J. Watt deserves to win MVP. Because his dynamic ability, when you line him up on offense, when he's intercepting balls, when he's sacking, when he's tackling, when he's catching, it's incredible. He's a do-it-all kind of guy. A guy like this played back in the 50s. I think there's no question that J.J. Watt is the MVP.
Well, CB, you got a counter argument to that? From the Packers fan himself?
One more time?
You got a counter to that? Because we have the Packers fan over here saying that J.J. Watt deserves it.
I just think that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL by far. And being in the playoffs is such an important thing in any MVP league. And he not only is throwing touchdowns, but they're winning games so convincingly with that offense. And he's not throwing any interceptions, which is just unbelievable.
Okay, I guess we'll see how it turns out. I think J.J. Watt will win MVP. Jake, you're on board with me. CB, we'll see how it turns out for you. Now, after all that NFL talk, we do have to acknowledge the Philadelphia 76ers on their first win of the season. They're 1-18. They avoided an 0-18 start to tie the worst ever by beating the Timberwolves 85-77. Michael Carter-Williams, 20 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds. Just short of a triple-double. And I could only imagine after that game, Sam Hinkie coming into the 76ers locker room and saying, "What are you guys doing? We're trying to get the number 1 pick out here." Jake, is this a good thing or a bad thing for the 76ers?
You never want to be on the wrong side of the history books. It's a good thing. Winning is good. Plain simple.
CB? What? I mean, obviously they're tanking.
I don't think there's any way that they don't end up as the worst team in the NBA either way, so I don't think it matters. Personally, I would have liked to see them go 0-82 for entertainment, but that's not going to happen.
Now, we all know that the NBA doesn't really reward tanking as much as other leagues. But the Sixers have taken it to a whole nother level. I honestly cannot name more than half their roster if I tried. I really don't know. Really anybody on the team.
A UCLA player from the non-Ben Howland era. This is from the Ben Howland, from the non-Final Four era. We had a guy named Malcolm Lee. He's starting for that team. That's really disturbing. If you're a UCLA fan and you remember who Malcolm Lee is, first of all, that's impressive. Now add that he's starting for an NBA team. It's a bad day.
I'm going to actually try. I'm going to read off the 76ers roster. Actually, which one of you is going to be brave enough to try and name the 76ers roster?
I'm gonna try and name stuff.
All right, here, I'm pulling it up.
MCW.
We got MCW. He is a point guard, that's correct.
MCW, you have Ty Outlaw.
Okay.
You have Malcolm Lee.
Yes.
You have
Oh, wait, did you see Outlaw? Outlaw's not on the